There is a moment we all know too well, that uncomfortable second when someone steps over our personal boundary and we freeze. We do not want to be rude, we do not want to explode, but we also cannot pretend nothing happened. And the question becomes, how do I protect myself without becoming someone I am not? How do I show respect for myself without slipping into aggression? Today we walk straight into this dilemma because it shapes every relationship in our lives. For many years, I worked around the world guiding women in large companies and coaching them closely. But lately, I see a very real struggle. Women everywhere feel pressure, uncertainty, and the quiet fear of expressing their own needs. And I know I'm ready to help even more women online feel free, independent, self-confident, and able to choose what they truly want rather than what society expects. If this resonates, like this video and subscribe. It matters more than you know. And stay until the end because the most unexpected insight waits there. When we do not protect our boundaries, something predictable happens. People stop respecting us, not because they are cruel, but because we silently teach them to step closer and closer until our needs disappear. And before we continue, I want to ask you something important. Who in your life evokes respect from you? Not fear, not tension, simply respect. That person who stands firmly, speaks calmly, and brings stability just by being themselves. Who is that for you? I remember the first person who taught me this. My English teacher. I admired him endlessly. He was brilliant, elegant, and incredibly fair. When he pointed out my mistakes, it did not feel like criticism but an invitation to grow. We wanted to work harder, not for grades, but to meet the level of dignity we felt in him. He never raised his voice, he never humiliated us, yet we respected him so deeply that disappointing him felt unthinkable. This taught me something powerful. Respect is born not from fear, but from steadiness, fairness, and quiet confidence. So the real question becomes, what version of yourself do you show to the world? The one people respect or the one they overlook? And if you feel a desire to shift that image, stay with me. We are only getting started. And remember, the first quality that inspires respect is confidence. You hear it in the tone of voice, you see it in posture, you feel it in the way someone listens. It is that silent message that says, I know who I am and I do not need to prove it. People feel this immediately, and I want you to reflect for a moment. How often does your inner confidence reach the surface where others can sense it? The second quality is kindness, but not the sweet version that begs for approval. I mean mature kindness, the kind that is guided by values, not by fear of rejection. A kind person does not exhaust themselves to earn love. They offer what feels right and stop where their limit lies. This kind of kindness feels dignified. It feels strong. Then comes one of my favorite qualities, firmness. Not coldness or stubbornness, but clarity of direction. A firm person knows their principles and does not abandon them because someone else finds it inconvenient. Firmness is the ability to say no quietly, the ability to stay centered even when emotions around you explode. And the more you practice it, the more your inner self becomes steady as rock. If you sometimes lose your center, do not worry. The next part will help you rebuild it. And here we start moving toward the insight waiting at the... Saying no is one of the highest forms of emotional maturity. It is so easy to say yes. Yes keeps people pleased. Yes avoids conflict. Yes makes you the convenient choice. But the person who respects themselves does not choose convenience, they choose truth. They simply say, this does not work for me. And that calm clarity commands respect more than any aggressive defense ever could. And sometimes one sentence changes the entire tone of a conversation. For example, I hear you, I need time to think. Let us return to this later. That one pause pulls you out of the emotional fire and places you back in control. Yes, some people will not like it because your clarity interrupts their pattern, but deep inside they understand that you are no longer someone to push. I remember when I struggled deeply with refusing requests, invitations to speak, to travel, to participate. Everything felt like an obligation until I realized that I was burning myself into exhaustion. I understood that if I want to deliver, protecting your boundaries is not a single decision. It is a practice, a daily habit. It grows in tiny moments, when you choose not to bend, when you breathe, when you say I need time. With each small step, your spine becomes stronger, and slowly the world learns to treat you differently. You stop being the convenient person and become the grounded one. Respect begins in the mirror. It begins when you tell yourself what is acceptable and what is not. When you define how many responsibilities your energy can carry, how many conversations you can hold, how much emotional weight you can take. People often break not because others hurt them, but because they refuse to recognize their own limits. Creating space for yourself is one of the strongest tools you have. Whenever someone pressures you to decide now, to react now, to answer now, it is a warning sign. A person who respects themselves does not walk into a choice without oxygen. They step back, take a pause, and return when the mind is clear. Others may be irritated by this calm strength, but they cannot ignore it, because it radiates dignity. If you feel that it is time to stop being the always available, the most important truth about boundaries is surprisingly simple. People respect the ones who respect themselves, not the loudest, not the toughest, not the endlessly kind. The ones who know their worth and guard it gently and consistently. When someone sees that you protect your energy, a different tone appears in the relationship. They understand that you are not an option. You are a person with substance. And when you develop this inner strength, your kindness transforms. It is no longer a weakness, it becomes a choice. You can be kind without being convenient. You can be soft without being fragile. You can be open without being unprotected. And this combination makes a person magnetic. Today, you stepped one level deeper into your confidence. You remembered the qualities you already respect in yourself. Share them in the comments. I love reading your reflections. And if you want more conversations like this, warm and honest, subscribe. Your presence here truly matters to me.